2, 1.
So, Mr. Weissman, you have some interesting theories about the origins of so-called soul food. Tell us about those.
It's quite funny, actually. Funny in a very proto-intellectualized fashion. I mean, if you read a lot of Hegel, circa 1927, you'd really understand this theory. I mean, considering even the well-known theory of Marco Polo bringing back the what was then known as the Huan-Shi noodle from Yuan Dynasty, China. But now we could just call it spaghetti or tortellini or any other sort of pasta. Is this sort of the vein in which you sort of research you've been bringing up?
Yes, go on.
Okay. So what the trajectory of the teleology of my research has shown is that it was very much so a black slave from southern Boston, when Massachusetts still did have slavery in the 18th century. He escaped and became a sailor on a ship off of Newfoundland, went over the Northwest Passage. This is found in Hague around circa 1937, and he visited Seoul. And to put things shortly, this is where soul food came from. And to put things in a very long fashion, he brought back chicken katsu to what was then known as Fiji, and then eventually traveled from Fiji via the USS Martin Van Buren to San Francisco, and as chop suey was not even yet heard of, soul food became popular.
Tell us about your contention that so-called collard greens were actually originally greens with shirt collars on them.
Well, a lot of people align me with sociocultural and even sometimes the economic theories of Zeb, roommate here. But I really just don't come from the same intellectual background. And really that theory is quite Zebian, you know, more about...
Zeb-esque.
Zeb-esque. More about the class unconsciousness. It's very anti-Marxian, which as well I am anti-Marxian, but I do not take it to be an anti-class consciousness.
Well, so it comes out of the class struggle of the early 20th century.
See, yeah, again, it's unfortunately assumed that my having gone to University of Alberta Community College that I would be of that vein of thinking as Zeb is. But I took very different classes, some very different pottery classes that were taught more by anarcho-fascists than the typical communist strain that is University of Alberta Community College. I understand you thinking that that's where I come from. So the collard greens theory, you know, I really think it has nothing to do with collared shirts. Also, I mean, if you look, Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, I mean, even
Armani.
Armani, oh yes, definitely Armani. I mean, at that point in history, in the early, the early 19th century, that was 1810, that was at most 1819. People were solely wearing the suits made by a Yeah, this was the German company birthday. They were only wearing birthday suits.
Fascinating.
What my colleagues are also looking at is to the role Alzheimer's disease has played in LSD research. Because they, and this is where Zeb has looked in a strange light. He's used Alzheimer's and marijuana, and I say there's really no control there.
But he's used Alzheimer's?
No, he's used a clinical study on people doing with Alzheimer's and marijuana, and it just feels that it's been proven time and time again that substance will make one forget things. So why would you use that? And so the LSD marijuana experiment, or the LSD Alzheimer's experiment, is really to see, once you've gotten them forgetting things, what, and excuse the French, but what je ne compte pas de choses de révolution, choses qui vont à faire avec l'acide lysergique. Excuse the French.
Excuse.